Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Amma ba'du fa'a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In hadha illa qawlul bashar sa'uslihi saqar. Sadaqallahul azim. The hearing, seeing and speaking of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is eternal and it is unlike any of His creation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His attributes do not require Him to have ears, to have eyes, to have a tongue, because He is free from having a jism, a body, unlike human beings. When we speak of the divine speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His holy book, the Qur'an, we understand that it is eternal. The kalam-e-nafsi, the divine speech in essence is eternal. It is qadim. However, the kalam-e-lafzi, the words of Al-Qur'ān-e-Karīm which are written, the words and letters that we hear, that we see, that we recite, these are created. These are hadith. The Mu'tazilah sect, however, deviated by saying that the Qur'an is a creation of Allah, and they negated kalam-e-nafsi, the divine speech which is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this was misguidance. I have with me Sharhul Aqa'id al-Nasafiyya of Imam Sa'duddin Taftazani rahimahullah. In here he mentions وَتَحْقِيقُ الْخِلَافِ بَيْنَنَا وَبَيْنَهُمْ يَرْجِعُ إِلَى إِثْبَاتِ الْكَلَامِ النَّفْسِيِّ وَنَفْيِهِ. He says the difference, the actual difference between us Sunnis and them Mu'tazila depends upon affirming the kalam-e-nafsi, the divine speech, which we Sunnis do, and negating it, which the Mu'tazila do. So in other words, when the Mu'tazila said that the Qur'an is creation, they negated the kalam-e-nafsi, the divine speech. I have also here Al-Aqidah al-Tahawiyya of Imam Abu Ja'far al-Tahawi rahimahullah ta'ala. In here he also discusses this issue, whereby mentioning فَمَنْ سَمِعَهُ فَزَعَمَ أَنَّهُ كَلَامُ الْبَشَرِ فَقَدْ كَفَرَ. And whoever heard the book of Allah and thought and believed that it was the word of a bashar, a human, then such a person becomes a disbeliever. Why? He says, وَقَدْ ذَمَّهُ اللَّهُ وَعَابَهُ وَأَوْعَدَهُ بِسَقَرٍ. Because Allah Azza criticizes such a person and admonishes him and warns him of hellfire. حَيْثُ قَالَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى, where Allah Most High says, سَأُصْلِيهِ سَقَرٍ, soon I will throw him into hellfire. فَلَمَّا أَوْعَدَ اللَّهُ بِسَقَرَ لِمَنْ قَالَ, in the place where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Qur'an promises hellfire for that person who says, إِنْ هَذَا إِلَّا قَوْلُ الْبَشَرِ, the one who says that this is just the speech of a human. This is in Surah 74, verse 25 and verse 26. So in other words, عَلِمْنَا وَأَيْقَنَا أَنَّهُ قَوْلُ خَالِقِ الْبَشَرِ وَلَا يُشْبِهُ قَوْلَ الْبَشَرِ. Imam Tahawi mentions that we know and we believe that it, i.e. the Qur'an, is the word of the creator of humans, and it is unlike the speech of humans. So from this we understand that the divine speech, kalam-e-nafsi, in itself is eternal, but the kalam-e-lafzi, the words which are written on transcripts and we hear and we see and recite, that is only created. Everything other than Allah and His attributes is created, and it is temporary, hadith, whereas Allah and His attributes is eternal, qadim. Therefore, Allah and His attributes never change, but everything else in the universe changes. And change does not happen to that who is the one who is eternal. The attributes of Allah cannot be understood fully, they cannot be comprehended. He is beyond our imagination. Therefore, we cannot think of Him and imagine Him, what He is actually like. But Allah has endowed examples to us in His creation from which we can understand briefly what His attributes are. The opposites of the attributes of Allah are impossible. So, the attributes of Allah are necessary. Therefore, the opposites of His attributes will be impossible. For example, non-existence. To say He has a beginning, to say He has an ending, to say Allah has a partner, to say He is like His creation, or to say that He depends on His creation. All of these are impossible because they are opposites of His actual attributes. Similarly, for one to believe death for Allah, or ignorance, or incapability, or compulsion, or deafness, or blindness, or dumbness, or any kind of inability, all of these are impossibilities, and to believe these for Allah, ma'adallah, they would be kufr, because these are the opposites of His attributes, and anything opposite His attributes is impossible for Him, whereas His attributes are necessary.